Hello and welcome back to today's episode of the What is K-pop podcast. My name is Sophie and I am the person who decided that this would be a good idea and who completely forgot what they normally say. Do I actually have anything that I usually say at this time? No, I don't. I've been doing this for over a week and I still have not actually, established what it is that I do on here. But basically I talk through K-pop groups, or today actually J-pop groups, and I basically I discuss like the members ages, key facts about them, anything else that I can really think of that I want to talk about, and then I get on to my genuine opinion of the group. And today, like I said, is actually the first episode of a J-pop group, not a K-pop group. And this J-pop group is one of the offshoot groups, or one of like the groups that came from people who are on. Was that Petal? No, I don't. Maybe. Oh well. Sorry, that I just saw a cat walking past my in my garden. So I film in the I'm recording the lounge so I can see out the big windows in front. So yeah, just thought it was my cat for a second just then. Don't mind me. Basically, some like on the. How would I explain this in non-K-pop terms? I guess it's sort of like if like contestants of like X Factor got together and were like, we're gonna do a band, yeah. It's sort of like that. Or like if you are into K-pop Boys Planet, there was Zero Base One, Envy, One Pact. There was another one, I'm pretty sure. There's like a couple of groups that have come from past contestants of Boys Planet and a couple of different survival shows, and yeah. So Team was a couple of the contestants were on Island, which created Hyphen, but Team actually had their own survival show, audition show, whatever you want, reality show. That's what it says in my notes. Called Audition The Howling, and they debuted on the 7th of December 2022 with their first mini album, The Howling Me. So a little bit later on then, the late November 2020 that Hyphen debuted, but sometimes plans do change, and the times in which like things kind of come to fruition do unfortunately change, just due to like financial reasons or just scheduling reasons. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way in which companies want it to. It's a pretty common kind of situation that things don't always kind of happen the way in which they are planning it to. So this group actually comes off of the like the whole hype thing, I guess, of I think it was around about when Le Sserafim was debuting. Hybe announced that they were going to try and debut at least 8 groups between then and the end of 2023. So we have Le Sserafim, New Jeans, and Team, Boy Next Door, and then yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of them, isn't it? Yeah. Well then. So it's actually only 4, but you do kind of have to take into consideration that like the kids, well, they are mostly kids actually. The kids might not be ready to debut. The songs might not be ready to debut. there might not be enough funding to put into the project at any one time, like because you can only really spend so much money in a month, even if you are a business. So there might have been incurring costs there. There is just all sorts of different things when it comes to businesses that you do kind of have to take into consideration. Like, you can't just instantly debut a group, even if, like, I know it does seem like it, especially given the offshoot groups that have come from Boys Planet. Literally, if you think about it, groups I think they were still debuting from contestants from Boys Planet in November. Boys Planet aired in February, finished in yeah, it was April, wasn't it? Yeah. So I was trying to think just then, but it came out at the end of April because of yeah, so they had a memorial thing for Moonbin, who was a member of Astro, who still is a member of Astro. He is just a member for eternity, and we love that. We honest to God love that for him. Yeah, rest in peace, Moonbin. Yeah, no. So it was month 4. One Pact, I think, debuted in month 11 of the year. So it was like, this is gonna show my terrible math skills. 7 months. That sounds about right. We're gonna say 7 months. So it isn't as simple as just like you instantly debut from a show. It's kind of like how Baby Monster, they didn't debut straight after their survival show, I guess you could call it, the last evaluation. But I think there was a lot of stuff just going on with YG anyway, because they had just lost Icon. They were losing members of Big Bang, and then they had issues with G-Dragon and his drug scandal, and then they had like the Blackpink members possibly not re-signing, them just generally having issues with their tour, and then like with Ahyun from Baby Monster like not doing too well in the physical health department, and trying to battle having the accusations or like discussions about their youngest member Chiquita being like 14 years old when they were going to be debuting. And to be fair, that's a whole different kettle of fish that I will be talking about when I actually do an episode on Baby Monster. But I have actually completely forgotten what I was talking about. Yeah, no, basically debuting groups isn't as easy as what it probably seems. Because if you think about it, when you hear project, like if you have a job and, I don't know, I'm trying to, there's like some sort of new initiative of, like, I don't know, to prevent like, passings of patients at a hospital, they have like better like systems to know what nurses are on duty, right? It's not going to be like when you hear about it on the news being like, oh, this system is going to go into place, hopefully, like it's probably not actually going to go into place on the time in which it's like been announced, right? So debuting a group does take time, and we do kind of have to acknowledge that within like business and stuff. Like things do take time. Like, it's like with that was it Volkswagen or like what's that electric car company? Tesla. They had like this like Cybertruck, I think it's called. And I heard about that. I first heard about it in like early 2021. Like it was a good few years ago when I was into like car videos, or like specifically Tesla car videos. And I heard about the Cybertruck, and I was like, that does not look like it's actually going to be a real car. And then I saw a video in which it was released, and it's been like 3 years since it was announced, and probably like half a dozen years after its first like concept, like pitch idea. right? So things do take time. And with all that being said, we are actually going to talk about this group. And although I just like went off on this rant, not even rant, just conversation about like something that isn't even that important in the grand scheme of things. But with all that being said, on the 1st of January 2021, what was called the Big Hit Japan Global Debut Project was started, and it would later obviously be referred to as the Hybe Labels Japan Global Debut Project due to the renaming and restructuring of Hybe and all of that good stuff. And what the project was aiming to do, or is still aiming to do, is producing like groups, soloist, duos, that sort of stuff to start in Japan and like basically go off and be all around the world. It's just like basically the same sort of thing as like Korean companies do. It's just that because it's like a Korean company, they're like saying, oh, we're gonna offshoot into Japan. Japan's gonna be their center. They're then gonna be like off into the world, you know? Because Japan's a different market than Korea, so that's what they plan to do. And former island contestants Kei, Nicholas, EJ, Kyungmin, and Taki would be a part of this project with like other members, and they were going to be debuting in 2021. However, at the end of April, it was announced. No, because that was a completely different thing. At the end of May, it was announced that actually Kyungmin had decided to leave the company as there were differs in what sort of direction they Kyungmin and the company thought that they were going to go into. So he decided to leave, and he is actually a part of an 8-member boy group called 8turn, who debuted about a month after N-Team, and I'll be honest, I did find that a little bit funny. I'm not even going to try and deny I didn't find that funny, because I did. Yeah, you should, honestly, he should have just stuck with And Audition Boys, or whatever that, And Audition Boys, because honestly, he would have debuted sooner, and maybe the company wouldn't have had to have taken so much time to debut them. But I mean, that is just my opinion. My opinion is my opinion, fully my choice, and what I'm going to be honest about in that situation. Also, a few of the members, I think it was Kay and EJ, if I'm remembering correctly. They were they were in the Drunk Dazed music video for In Hyphen. And I remember seeing like something about that when it like came out. And I like rewatched the video and I was like, dang son, how on earth can you tell? Literally half the time I'm watching a music video and it's so visually stimulating for me that I can't even notice really what's going on, to the point in which I'm just like, I am not quite overwhelmed just yet, but I am getting there, you know? So yeah. And then a few months later, actually quite a significant few months later, on the 4th of November 2021, so about a year after Hyphen was debuted, or had debuted, Hybe Japan announced that there was going to be an audition show broadcasted sometime in 2021, wherein which the 4 members of And Audition Boys would make an appearance. And then the And Audition Boys social medias were launched, as that was going to be their placeholder name until it was decided what their name was officially going to be. Sorry, I was just looking at the keys on my keyboard. I love how I do just get distracted about so many strange things. It was then announced a few months after that, on March the 9th, 2022, that the show would be airing in July of 2022 on various different platforms for worldwide viewing. The show premiered on the 9th of July with 5 contestants from the show being selected to debut with the 4 others to make a 9-member group, and the finale was aired on the 3rd of September 2022, and that they would be called New Team. And the fandom name was announced to be called Loon, or Lune, or however you want to pronounce that, on the 26th of September, and yeah, pretty much how that kind of went. They debuted, obviously, to fairly good views. I remember when they first that bird was loud. I remember when they first debuted, I was like, this is good. This is a good one. I did like them. But I'll be honest, I haven't actually listened to their music much after their debut. I did listen to their album, which will be coming up very, very shortly, and I was like, these songs that I'm listening to, they're okay, It's just that I'm getting so overwhelmed with all of the music that I don't have to listen to any of it, but I listen to it to be able to then talk to all of you guys about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I actually like Team's music that much, because it's very much, it has a certain je ne sais quoi about it. It's got a certain vibe to it. It's got a certain something to it, and I'm just not the biggest fan of the whole situation. And I mean, like, I've got nothing against the members. They seem good enough. But yeah, before we do get on to the the rest of the story, the members, I should actually tell you what the members' names are. So we've got Kay, this is in age order, by the way. Kay, Fuma, Nicholas, EJ, Yuma, Joe, Haruna, Taki, and Maki. And obviously in pre-debut it's Kyungmin too. And I actually voted for a couple of those members actually when it came to the voting section of the show. I do believe there is an 8-year age difference between Kay and the maknae Maki, but I mean, if it works for them, it works for them. And again, it's like the same thing as I was talking about on the Le Seraphim episode. It's like, what would those people talk about? But I mean, again, like, what does it matter? If it works for them, it works for them, and I'm sure they do find something that they want to talk to each other about. It's much the same as Talil, yeah, and Haechan from NCT. They have an 8-year age difference, and they seem to get along swimmingly. So, I mean, what's it to any of us? They kind of, how they get along and stuff. But it's always kind of, it's something to bear thinking about. Of kind of that I feel like it's a dynamic sort of thing, like having like a good broad range of different ages, just so that you can have like different perspectives. Because what if Kay wants to talk to one of the members about, like, I don't know, what it was like to spend your youth in South Korea, because they're based solely and probably in Japan, probably for the most part. I don't know where I'm going with this sentence. It's like, how do you kind of talk to other people if there's like such a big age difference in between the members? But it does seem to be that they have a good broad range of people who are in the group. So that at least is something good for them. On March the 2nd of 2023, it was announced that they would be holding their first ever Japanese fan meet tour from the 27th of May to the 16th of June, called 2023 Anteam Fan Tour Lune Mare. I'm gonna guess it's pronounced the same way as that a member of Billy's name, oh my god, how do you say it? Her name? Sukinami. I think that's just gonna help. We're gonna be able to pronounce that. Very sorry if anyone from Japan is listening to this. I apologize for butchering that. And also on the same day, they announced they would be releasing an official soundtrack for their story on Wattpad, along with the other Hype stories, called The Dark Moon, The Grey Cities, sung by the 4 original members, and the song is called Wolf, Win or Lose Fight, which does not make sense. And it was released on the 16th of March. I cannot believe it's been over a year. That makes me feel incredibly old. I've already got wrinkles on my forehead, actually. I'm just going to announce that now. I've got 3 wrinkles on my forehead and I'm 20. But to be fair, I scrunch my forehead up a lot when I'm anxious. And so that just explains absolutely everything that you need to know about me. Of course not, but I am a lot more in depth than just this. I would absolutely love to just do an episode just dedicated to like my opinions on like some things to do with K-pop. Like actually, my episode on Wednesday, it's going to be Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I'm actually going to be talking about the parents in K-pop, like those idols who have children or are married or this, that, and the other, and kind of my own opinion on that sort of stuff. Obviously, like I don't have an opinion on them just having children, but like the reaction of the fans to those sorts of things, and like how I feel about having children in that sort of environment and stuff. But yeah, if you want to hear about that one, feel free to check out the episode on Wednesday. That will be up then. Or if not, then feel free to stick with the episodes that you want to listen to. No judgment here. Yeah. So on the 5th of April, 2023, it was hinted at that there would be another release, and then on the following day, it was announced that Anteam would be releasing their second mini album on the 14th of June, which was eventually revealed to be called First Howling We. It was promoted in South Korea, actually, which is I don't get why that would happen when it's a Japanese group, but I guess maybe there isn't TV shows in Japan like they do in South Korea. I know that for WayV they don't promote their Chinese title tracks. They promote like an English version of their title tracks for Korean shows. So maybe they did that. I don't know, my opinion is just like you should be able to promote in whichever language you want to, but obviously I fully understand that it's a culture thing. It's a dynamics between countries. It's legislation kind of situations with all that stuff. But I have all my own opinions, everything that I say that isn't like straight up facts is my own opinion, and I am very willing to go on the record about my own opinion. So yeah, honestly, I know that some people would be like, "Oh my God, Sophie, stop talking. You're gonna, cause an issue." But genuinely, that is my own opinion, and honestly, I will stand by my opinions. Yeah. So on the 31st of July, it was announced that Team would hold their first anniversary event. The anniversary of them being all selected for the same team instead of their debut anniversary. And that was to be held on the 3rd of September in Japan. So that is good for the Japanese fans of Anteam, the Japanese loonies, stars, yeah. And then it was announced a week later that there would also be a event held in Seoul on the 9th of September. And on the same day that they had their anniversary event, so the 3rd of September, it was announced that they would be releasing their first full-length album in November of 2023, which was later announced. The name was announced as The First Howling Now, which was released on the 15th of November. Let me check quickly. As for my own Spotify songs, because I have a very, very big liked songs list, and I know for a fact that if I looked at it right now, I think I would have no idea what I'm looking at, which is pretty normal for me, actually. Yeah, so I liked the first 3 songs that were on that list, on the track list, so War Cry, Dropkick, and I'll be honest, I do not remember the word for the Japanese script letter format. How Korean is called Hangul technically in Korean language is called Hangul in Korean. I think it's kanji. We're going to research what is Japanese. What is Japanese knotweed? Oh my God, that's a weed that you do not want in your garden because that is going to cause issues. Nihongo? That doesn't sound correct. There we go. Hiranga, katakana, and kanji. So the kanji is the ideogram. So which stands for the meaning of the word, but the hiragana and the katakana is the phonetic symbols. So whatever the strokes, I guess are. Yeah. I guess that means something. I feel like I just had my brain fucked with. I'm so sorry to anyone who understands that. And I just said, and it's like, oh my God, what is this girl on? I swear. I do try to research and learn about this stuff, but it's very, very hard when you've got about 1,000,001 things you have to do during the day. So that pretty much wraps up for the what has happened to the the group as a whole. And I guess we can just discuss about the members, or I can just talk about my opinions on the members themselves. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members who are Japanese, 6 of which are fully Japanese in nationality. We have 1 member from Taiwan, 1 member who is Korean, and the Mac name, Maki, who is dual nationality of Japan and Germany. And fascinatingly, actually, the only Korean member is oh my god, I hate when I hear creepy noises around the house. Fascinatingly enough, actually, the leader is Korean. And I don't know. Again, I watched. I'm gonna guess that's Petal. I really hope that is Petal. Because otherwise, I am scared. As I was talking, I wonder if the Korean member showed leadership qualities when he was on both the shows. As for his ability to be leader, I wonder if that was why he was chosen to be leader, much the same as Jungwon was chosen for N-hyphen. It's warm in the house right now. Dang. But yeah, no, the sub leader is Japanese. He is Fuma. And yeah, can I think of anything else that I want to talk about here? Let's try and find something else so then we can carry on talking so I don't have to deal with the fact that I'm scared right now. Go away, Ad. No one wants you. Let's look about the trivia, random trivia. So Maki, who's the Mac name, which is pretty convenient if I would say so myself, he's actually trilingual. And is this recording? I think it is. I hope it is. Otherwise, I am screwed. He's trilingual, so he can speak Japanese, English, and German. That's a fact for you. That's an interesting little tidbit of information. His dad is German American and his mother is Japanese. So that makes him half German American and half Japanese, which again, that doesn't make sense. So he's a third all of those places. But I mean, both my parents are English, but they're all from different parts of the UK. I still live in the same part of the UK that I lived in my entire life. So I mean, I'm part all of those places, but I don't talk about it. EJ, who is the leader. I like that picture of him. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so he went to the ground. He went to the ground with in the first episode of Island, and he kept on being put in and out of Island to ground, which probably didn't do much of the old confidence thing. Bloody dust is killing me. It doesn't say anything about the languages that he speaks, but fair enough. For anyone who is curious as to why I just suddenly spoke French just then, I did French for 10 years in school. It was a part of the national curriculum for all kids to be able to speak a foreign language to at least some extent, just because of the likelihood of you going probably working in those countries when you were older, but the national curriculum in the UK was made for a version of the world that no longer really exists, unfortunately. So while I do understand French to a certain extent, I don't have ever any intention to use it in France, given the fact that it is only predominantly in France where in which French is spoken. So I do know it enough to the extent where I could go and like shop in like clothing stores and in a bakery for some reason and like do a lot of shopping. We learn like that's pretty much like we learn basics and like random little tidbits of just bits of French. I also did Spanish for a year, and we learned the numbers, the greetings, and directions. So if you were to ask me, like if you were to plonk me in Spain and be like, which way do we need to go? I would be able to tell you in Spanish that we are either going left or right, or forwards or backwards. If that gives you any context to my language learning ability. Anyway, so Nicholas, who is Nicholas? Give me more information, laptop. He is the rapper and vocalist. He's also the person from Taiwan. He is also multilingual. He speaks 4 languages. That does not have a tri or a bilingual little thingy for it because I don't think there is actually a name for that. So we're going to say multilingual. He speaks Chinese, English, Japanese, and Korean, which I'm pretty sure is like some of like the top languages in the entire world. I know that Chinese and English are. So at least my parents did a good old thing. I was actually talking to my dad the other day about traveling for some reason because I wanted to, I'm always considering my next steps in life and kind of what I want to do with my life. And I kind of said about, oh, did you and my mum ever consider like traveling to Australia? Apparently they did for a time, but then life happened, and then they eventually had kids, and life happened again, and they just kind of decided we're just gonna stay in England. Yuma is apparently called Kyun by his mother. I think that's really, really sweet. My nickname at home, obviously, is Chicken. So, yeah. It's because I absolutely love chicken. It's a problem. And also, I'm like kind of cute, I guess, and my hair's fluffy and it's blonde. So I guess it kind of reminds my parents of a chicken. I wish I understood why. Yuma was also a trainee at Johnny and Associates from 2012, as well as at Avex from 2015 to 2018. So that means he potentially could have been training for at least 10 years. Maybe less, because you can drop out of like training programs, you can leave them and then kind of come back to them. It's not like a linear thing where you have to carry on training until you debut. You can come back to it, I guess, but and I wouldn't recommend it obviously, because then you kind of start from square one. The new system probably doesn't understand like your skill set, and will probably consider you last for any sort of group that comes up in the future. So that is fun little tidbits of information I love to pull out of my brain. Joe, who is actually the first member of the group who's younger than me, doesn't actually say much about his trivium, but his personality MTBI, so the Myers-Briggs, whatever, is INFP, so he is introverted. That is the extent of the Myers-Briggs things that I understand. Yeah. So Harua, you can really tell how much I do not know how to pronounce these things by the fact I go for it and then I fail and then I'm just embarrassed. We're actually about the same height, me and Harua. Yeah. Apparently he looks like 17's Joshua. Let's have a look at the picture of it. Oh, for God's sakes. There we go. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But to be fair, I'm always quite bad at this sort of stuff. Apparently, I look quite like my paternal grandmother. So the grandmother, so my dad's mum. But I don't know because I never met her. Unfortunately, she passed away shortly before my mum found out she was pregnant with my sister. So we never got to meet her, unfortunately. But I've been told that I look quite like her. Taki, he had been training for 10 months prior to Island, so for about 3 years before he debuted with and Team. And his favourite song is Blue and Grey by BTS. I love that song too. It's very, very sweet. Makes me feel sad, but in a good way. And then last but no means least is Maki. And obviously him being the youngest. He also likes Shout Out, the song by Enhypen. Enhypen actually was on the show, the survival show that made and Team and Audition The Howling as kind of like, you go for it, yeah, vibing, woo, yeah. I am awkward in talking sometimes. I actually love this for me. It's like I can do everything joking, but anything that I need to talk seriously about, I then get awkward. And it's actually hilarious. Like, it's really bad, but also really funny at the same time. So, we're just going to quickly run through the contestants of and Audition The Howling before we start to wrap up today's episode. We have Fuma, who was 24, Haiti, who was 21, Junwon, who was 19, Yuma, who was 18, Gaku, who was 18, Joe, who was 18, Hikaru, who was 17, Harua, who was 17 too, Maki, who was 16, Minhyun, who was 15, and Yejun, who was also 15. Yejun was actually a former child actor. Thought I'd provide you with that little piece of information. I always kind of wonder what these people think to do, what do they think about doing? Oh yes, Junwon, he's interesting. I always wonder what they think about doing afterwards. But Junwon, he is literally, I find his story the most interesting one out of like any of these people and survival shows, because he was on the Korean survival show called Fantasy Boys, and he actually won the entire thing. But because, and this is all alleged, I think, or at least we're going to say it's alleged because we're going to cover our asses here. His parents actually basically said to the they said to the agency, like, we want better pay and we want like better like clothes, and we want him to be in the center of the photos. At least I think so, from what I can remember of the things. I'm actually just saying this off the top of my head. And the company was like, no, actually, we're not going to do that. Just because he won, we can't guarantee any of that sort of stuff. So he like didn't, I guess he didn't like show up to things. And so the agency basically was like, we can't do this. Like, we can't have you doing this to us. Like, we have a job to do. We have to debut these people. Like, it's not fair. So he ended up leaving Fantasy Boys, and Fantasy Boys debuted as an 11-member group. And they actually, I think they even said to him, like, we're gonna let you come back if you come back at this certain date. And obviously he didn't. So he isn't a part of anything. So the likelihood of him actually, doing anything else in the industry, or at least in K-pop, is actually quite low. And I don't personally, I don't really care. I know it sounds harsh, like me saying my opinions in that sort of way, but like in the grand schemes of things, my opinion doesn't actually matter. Did you know that? It is just, it's just a fact. Like these decisions, they do have to be made, and it is harsh. And Jungwon, he could have been an amazing member of Fantasy Boys, but because of just not wanting to, not having trust in your company, or not being able to be featured in the way that you want to, can often lead to disagreements. And at the end of the day, the company has to do business. The business is a business. You can't just pander to everyone's needs. And unfortunately, it has made it so that Jungwon doesn't have a group, and I don't think he probably has a company. And the likelihood is that he won't be able to participate in another show. He might not have another group. He might just fade into the background and such. And I do feel for him. Obviously, it's not nice to kind of have the rug pulled from under you, but he could have come out and said that I don't support what my parents want to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to be with Fantasy Boys and this, that, and the other. But, it could have actually have been his choice to do all that stuff. And, I hope he gets to do whatever he wants to do in the future. I wish him all the best of luck, but you made choices, and you kind of have to live with your choices sometimes. And my ability to feel sorry for him is quite limited. But yeah, another member another person who was in the show is actually called, it was Hikaru. Yep. He is going to be a member of the upcoming boy group under Hype Labels Japan as well, called 24 Kumi, I think the name is. And I do hope that they are going to debut soon. But yeah, so it was around about September time when it was announced that Gaku and Hikaru are in the final stages of preparing to debut in the future group. End quote from the K-pop Wikia. I'm just, talking briefly about the sort of stuff that's on there. And the members are going to be Yuju, Shin, Ruka, Gaku, Haiku, Kaiosuke, Kaji, and Rio. I really hope this member is not. Oh my, it's 2007. I started school then. Okay, this is. Oh my, he's 16. Yep. He's a young one. Okay, that's fine. It's not fine at all. It's not fine in the slightest. You know, it's just when the kids are just so young, I'm like, oh, oh my. Even the youngest person on the and Audition Boys was 16 now. He was like, what, like 14 when he was on the show? Maybe 15. Yeah, no, his birthday had passed, but like, you know, it's just, I just don't feel comfortable with liking idols who are super duper younger than me. Like, I'm just past the age in which you would typically debut. I'm 20, which, you know, sickens me slightly. But in the advent of Rise, an SM group, we actually saw for the first time none of the members actually being underage. So hopefully this creates more of a desire for companies to, you know, capitalize off of older trainees, and you know, it gives it, you know, having younger trainees, I do understand it like gives you more time for them to kind of be stars. You know, not everyone wants to be singing and dancing when they're like 30 plus years old, but you know, having trainees or at least people in your group who are a little bit older gives them that much more maturity, I guess, or that more like time to be able to like have life experience as opposed to only having done like K-pop for the majority of their life, you know. So yeah, I mean, I have no further opinions, I don't think, on Team and Audition Boys The Howling, the show, or anything to do with that sort of stuff. If you would like to watch the survival show, it is on YouTube on the Hype Labels Japan YouTube channel. I do believe if you are not in Japan or in South Korea, and if you are in those two countries, I think it's on Hulu and another streaming site whose name I cannot remember at the moment. However, it is over, so you know, it isn't really worth. Like, I guess like you can watch it if you want to, but like there isn't. I don't know how I would feel about watching like watching the X Factor, even if I knew who had won, because I'd be like, ha ha ha, we all know you failed. Like, I don't know how I would feel about like seeing those people and kind of being like, you didn't make it, sorry. But you know, it is on there if you'd like to watch it, of course. Obviously on Wednesday it's going to be all about idol parents and idols who are married. We're going to be talking about that kind of side of K-pop and what has been kind of going on in essence to that. I also think we are coming towards the end of hype groups that have debuted, because there are a few who are in the pre-debut stage that I can't really talk about because there's not much in any way to talk about. However, I do hope you did enjoy today's episode. It was a lot of butchered pronunciation, but we love that for me. Yeah, so I hope you have a nice rest of your Sunday. I have been Sophie, your host, and this has been the What is K-Pop podcast. Please stay safe out there and have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye.